Part two tonight of our story on the fallout of a drunken night of partying. Yesterday, we introduced you to a former JMU co-ed, Sarah Butters, who said she was sexually assaulted by 3 fraternity brothers on a 2013 spring break trip in Florida.
Tonight, WHSC's Grant Cruz tells us how the university responded and why Sarah says it wasn't enough.
You're looking at video from the webpage of Sigma Chi's JMU chapter. The fraternity wouldn't reveal many specifics, but did say members were kicked out a year ago after a co-ed said she was sexually assaulted. Sarah Butters says JMU's ruling in the case came a year later. This email, dated April 3, 2014, shows the final word from James Madison University. It shows 3 of her fellow students responsible for sexual assault and harassment: Mike Lunny, Jay Dirtsball, and Nick Scallion, expelled, but not until after graduation, and only allowed at school for classes. It's a story you'll see only on WHSV.
I don't think they had my best interest in mind when they gave them the punishment of expulsion after graduation.
We asked for an interview with James Madison University President Jonathan Alger and Judicial Affairs Director Josh Bacon. They declined, and the school sent this statement instead. Quote, James Madison University takes the safety and well-being of our students very seriously. Consistent with federal law, the university has thorough processes in place under which complaints are investigated and reviewed, and which include students, faculty, and staff. Also consistent with federal law, the university is forbidden to discuss any resolved or active judicial affairs cases. End quote.
I think the school cares more about their image and their reputation of maintaining a safe environment than they do actually protecting the students.
I sat down with Jasmine Brock, adult advocate at the Sexual Abuse Resource Agency.
A lot of people drink. There are a lot of people who get drunk. It's a reality of life, but most people do not commit sexual assault. So, that is an excuse that we accept here. It's not an excuse that we think society should accept.
Sarah says 2 of the men in the video graduated last month, but one is set to return in the fall if he chooses. I called the men more than once and emailed them, but never received a response. Sarah says she won't be coming back to JMU to finish college.
This is my family's worst nightmare. They aren't here to protect me, and they're really upset that something happened and stuff, and it really took a toll on us and has been hard on all of us.
What about dangers facing other college co-eds?
Hopefully nothing happens, but I don't want to give people that false sense of security, because you don't have to worry so much about the perpetrators who you know and that people know did something. It's most of them we don't know.
And if you're asking why JMU has any responsibility for something that its students did hundreds of miles away, according to the student handbook, quote, James Madison University reserves the right to hold students accountable for off-campus behavior that falls within the jurisdiction of the university. Examples of such off-campus behavior would include, but not be limited to, crimes of violence and/or sexual assault as determined by the Office of Judicial Affairs.
It just really disgusts me that JMU, is still going to give diplomas to people they find responsible of sexual assault and sexual harassment.
Now, I spoke with the executive director of Sigma Chi, Mike Church. He wouldn't give me much information about the case, but when I asked him, why would the fraternity suspend these guys and not the school, he said the 2 have different standards.
The only thing I can say that I regret is drinking as much as I did. But if I would have gone back to, that day and drank half as much as I did, I probably still would have been hanging out with, similar people, because those guys were my friends.
It doesn't matter what you were doing leading up to it. If you didn't consent or can't consent, whatever those reasons are, I don't care what the reasons are why consent couldn't happen.
Now as Sarah decides what is next for her, she is closing the book on JMU, but says her work isn't finished.
My case is over with. I can't really change their punishments or do anything about that, but I can make sure that something like this doesn't happen to anyone else.
Tomorrow night is the final part of our story, and if you are a parent, this is a story you need to see. Find out how the internet may have turned one night of poor decisions into a lifetime of humiliation. In the Web Center, Grant Cruz, WHSV. We'll be right back.